Hi there, beautiful ones. It's Dr. Tiff. I am the host of Intimate Details with Dr. Tiff. You haven't seen me in a while. I know. I understand. I understand the frustration, the confusion. I know that you've been waiting with breath that is bated. But listen, Mama's been a little busy. She's been going through a few things, been figuring some things out. And I just thought as we are ending 2024, that I would do a podcast episode just to kind of wrap up 2024, tell you what to look out for in 2025, but most importantly, to let you know a little bit about what's been going on, my thoughts and feelings about a few things, introduce you to some new things, and there's going to be some changes around here. Okay. There's some changes around here, starting with the fact that I'm doing this podcast live right now. So if you follow me on my professional Facebook page, not the personal one, okay? That I approve people, okay? But the page, if you're following me on there, then you're probably seeing this video live and you're like, what is she doing? Because she never does this, because I never do. Right. So if you see me on there live, I'm filming via Riverside, which is my preferred platform for recording everything, but they have this new feature where you can just stream. I did this once before when we were doing the working lunch, and it worked out really well. I think I streamed to LinkedIn at that point. And so today I'm streaming on Facebook. So if you are joining me live, feel free to hop in the chat. I believe that feature is on. So if you want to message me, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can communicate with me there. I'll also be posting this video on my podcasting platform as a new season of Intimate Details with Dr. Tiff. Now, where we left off earlier this year, we did a whole bunch of episodes really centered around two pillars: intentional self-care and relationship enhancement. And those are the hills that I will die on. Those are the things that are so important to me. Those are the things that I'm always pushing to my patients, to my clients, to everybody in my orbit. So those things have not changed. But a lot has changed in 2024. So I want to get started today just kind of talking about what I've been doing, what I've been up to, what I've learned in 2024, and how I want to usher in 2025. And I want to start off with something that I just shared with my subscribers. If you are not already subscribed to my email list, I want you to open up a new tab in your web browser and go to drtiffanyhenry.com. That's DrTiffanyHenry. Okay, drtiffanyhenry.com. Go to the bottom of that first page and sign up for the email list. Now, you want to do that because my email subscribers get a lot of information firsthand. They keep up with me. They know the things that are going on. A lot of what I'm going to tell, because I don't tell people all my business, but some of what I'm telling you today, they already know because they're already on the list and they've been subscribing, honey. So yeah, get on the list so that you'll be amongst the first to know about the things that I'm doing and that are coming up in my world. So go ahead and do that. Now, woo, all right, 2024, okay? It's been a year. It's been a year. Now, what I talked to my subscribers in the email, my email subscribers with today, was it 2024? And this is what I think. Okay, usually I'll tell you stuff that I know, but this is what I believe, what I think, what I read somewhere, and the sense that I've made out of it all. Okay, 2024. If you are someone who does numerology, please come on to the front. Come on to the front and check me, boo. I know how Sheree said, who gonna check me, boo? Please, if you are into numerology, check me, boo. Okay, please do. And correct me where I'm wrong. All right, come on in the chat and let me know. All right, 2024. If you add the numbers 20 0, 2, and 4 together, that equals 8, which means that 2024 is an 8 year. 8, the number 8 is a number of completion. Okay. Everything comes full circle. It completes, right? You get to 8, all done. So when you think about that and you think about all the things that have happened for you in 2024 or happened over the last 8 years, right? We're wrapping some things up. Okay. Things are getting buttoned up, tied up, we're over some things, and we're just wrapping 2024 up with a nice neat little bow. Okay. Any mistakes that we made, any regrets that we have, any seasons that we're in, that ends tonight at 11:59. Okay. So whatever it is, anything that you want to move past, move beyond, get over, it ends here. It ends here. And I love that for me. I love that for us, because it means that we get to transition out of this year feeling as though we've done what we needed to do. Even if we, like I said, have regrets or feel like we missed opportunities or didn't do things, it's all done. The end of this year is done. And usually we have this vibe, right? We usually have this vibe at the new year, new you. We usually are jazzing things up and trying to do something new in the new year, making new resolutions, new promises. But with this being an 8-year, things are really done. We're done. We're done with the things that we don't want to carry into 2024. And I'm going to continue to talk about this and weave this in within and throughout our conversation today, because there are a lot of things that I realize for myself and for the folks that I work with, that we just don't need to be talking about no more. We need to be over it. We got to move past it. We got to go beyond it. And I say that because oftentimes we can, especially women, we can belabor something to death. We can noodle something over to death. We can process and think through and hem and haw, if you will, go back and forth, okay, about a problem, something that's bothering us, something we are upset about, something we know we need to do but haven't done it. 2024 is a year where we've done enough. We've completed the conversation. Okay. And so I want to encourage you to really assess in your life, what are the things, in these last few hours, okay, of 2024, and who has the nerve, the gall, the gumption to to do a podcast episode the last few hours of the year when she hadn't done one in I don't know how long, a couple months, okay? But I had a time today, and I had thoughts today, and I wanted to come and share with you today. I thought it was really important that we close the year out this way. Again, completion. Because next year, your girl's going to be in her bag. Okay. She's going to be in her bag. It's going to be totally different. So yeah, 2024, we're wrapping things up. So I want you to really take a note of the things that you just don't want to carry into 2025, and you're going to be done with it. Make a note of those things. Okay. Make reference to them. Put them on a sticky note, a sheet of paper, whatever you got to do. Make note of all the things like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not talking about how so-and-so treated me. I'm not giving every hour of every minute of every second to this job and neglecting my own well-being. I'm not prioritizing other people and their needs above mine. I'm not taking my PTO or my vacation time. I'm not going to sit on this idea or this business or this book or this whatever anymore. I'm not going to neglect my health, my physical health, my mental health. I'm going to take my butt to the doctor if I know I need to go? Like, what are the things that you are saying, you know what, enough, enough. I'm not doing this anymore. Write those things down so we can make plans. We can make plans to do better and get better in 2025. So yes, 2024 year of completion. And what I realized, let's talk about this podcast. First of all, let's talk about the podcast because I do love talking to you guys. I love offering up little tidbits. I love having the conversations that we've been able to have. And we've had some amazing guests that I've learned from that have really, I will say, transformed the way that I even think about the things that I do, my business, my practice, my self-care, my own growth and transformation. A lot of it has been shaped over these last couple of years with this podcast and some of the conversations that we've had. I got my little hormones addressed after my conversation with Dr. Well, right before my conversation, really after the conversation with Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie, I think that was season 1. We talked a lot about pleasure. We talked about the OSHA and we talked about all of that kind of stuff. And Lordy Jesus, that was a great episode. You should go back and listen to it. But then Dr. Jen came on season 2, and we talked about a lot about menopause and perimenopause. And your girl got on the hormone replacements. And when I tell you it's been a ride, okay, that's been a good thing. And that happened at the end of I started them end of 23. So all of 2024, she's been on the replacement therapy and she's been, doing her thing. So that was something that was, an amazing transformation. Also, if you've been following me on Instagram, this isn't a secret, but I just haven't talked to you guys on the podcast about it. But I'm gonna say that 2025 might be a year of me being a little bit more vulnerable and sharing more personal information. Although I feel like y'all know enough of my business, I'll share this too because I have already shared it. I shared it on Instagram, but I know I'm going off on tangents. Please bear with me because I haven't talked to y'all in a while. I like to share personal things in my stories. So if you are following me on Instagram at Dr. Tiffany TV, you will rarely get anything personal on my actual factual feed. I generally will share personal items, tidbits, thoughts in my stories. One, because they disappear in 24 hours. So if I have immediate regrets, I can take it down. I want people to see it. I want the people that want to see it to see it. But I don't want just a regular looky-loo who's just, it's a vulnerability thing and I'm working through it. But that's where the things go. So earlier this year, I was out walking the dog, not my dog, but the dog. I was out walking the dog, and that's a whole nother story. If you followed my stories, you would know. Okay. I'm not going to explain it. I was out walking the dog and I stepped on this metal hook. It went through my shoe and into my foot. Long story short, almost passed out on the sidewalk. My neighbor came, yanked the metal hook out of my foot. Okay. Which I really don't think she should have done, but she was just like, she couldn't watch me in pain and look at me like that and see it there. So she had to yank it out. And then she had the nerve to say, "You would have done the same thing for me." I'm like, "No, I wouldn't have, girl. I would not." I would not. I would never. Okay. So anyway, why am I telling you this? Now I can't even remember why I'm telling you this. See, this is the thing. This is the thing with perimenopause. Okay. Anyway, so, I was out walking the dog. She came, she got the thing out of my foot. It was a big to do. I know why I was telling you this. Here we go. Bring it back, Tiff. Bring it back. That was the day. Oh, I can't believe I'm sharing this with y'all. Why do I tell y'all all my business? That was also the day, that morning, that I was officially and formally diagnosed with adult ADHD. I don't know if I want a round of applause or what, but here's the thing. I've known for some time that's what it is. I'm a therapist, right? So I have the good book, the DSM. I know the things. But just like my conversation with Dr. Jen, which is why this is related, um, you can be a physician or a mental health practitioner and be experiencing symptoms and still not put two and two and two and three and four together and realize that, oh shit, this applies to me too. And so I had been experiencing a lot of things. I've always been, and I probably have talked to you guys about this before. And I know I talked to you guys about this when we were talking with Dr. Jen. I've always been someone who I have considered to be high functioning. I have a I've always said I have a high tolerance for stress. I, juggle a lot of things. You guys have seen me juggle so many different things. I do this podcast. I do private practice as a psychotherapist. I, launch Kinky Green. I work on camera as an intimacy coordinator with some of your favorite shows. Excuse me. Oh, girl. See, menopause. With some of your, and I'm not gonna edit that out. That's growth. Okay. With some of your favorite shows and films. I expert appearances, all the things. I'm doing a lot. I always just thought that was my creativity and passion and not wanting to be, boxed in one hole. And really, it was kind of, I think, a chasing of dopamine, chasing dopamine down, man, and getting that hit. Not wanting to, you say it's not wanting to settle, but really is not wanting to do the mundane and sometimes even avoiding things that need to be done by focusing on that new shiny object, right? So that morning, the morning of the thing blowing up my foot, I had gone to see a psychiatrist that was referred to me by a dear friend and also a therapist. And she had given me, truth be told, she had given me the name of this person probably like a year earlier. So which gives you an indication of how long I had been wrestling with, is this it or is this something else? Like, what is it? What we know now, what we all know now, because I've been talking about it and I've been sharing, all of this with you guys in my stories on Instagram, is that for women, in particular, ADHD, and I think I'll definitely have an expert come on and talk about ADHD. I actually have somebody in mind. But for women in particular, ADHD has been something that has been historically misdiagnosed, mislabeled, misdiagnosed, or just not diagnosed, undiagnosed for quite some time. My understanding is that when ADHD first came on the scene with the gangster lean, it was all of the testing, all of the research and developments that they've made had been done with males, with boys, right? So you saw a lot of, if you were if you were born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, you might remember the whole Ritalin thing where they were putting a lot of kids on Ritalin. Well, and the majority of those kids were boys, because a lot of the behaviors that we attributed back in the day to ADHD were things that we typically would see in young men. So, um, obviously, the not being able to concentrate and focus, which looked like in a classroom, blurting out or not raising your hand, talking too much, playing too many games, touching people all the time, not being able to sit still in your seat, lots of fidgeting and walking around, not listening to the teacher. These kids were labeled with behavioral issues when in actuality, they were struggling with um, a, a, a type of overstimulation in their brains and not being able to really focus, right? But in girls, when we have girls with similar or different issues, but struggling nonetheless with attention, with focus, with um, time blindness, with poor just management, with flight of ideas, with being all over the place with tons of creativity, but not being able to place things, forgetfulness, all the things, right? Those girls were labeled, if it got recognized at all, right? They were labeled with things like anxiety and depression. I was never labeled with that. Like I said, I've always been somebody who just I was able to mask a lot of these symptoms, because I was a high achieving person and really could adapt to lots of different situations. So the stress, and I also would propel myself to push past stress. If I'm scared of something, and I talked to you about this the first episode of the first podcast. When I'm scared of something that I want to do, I do it anyway. And so I don't typically let anxiety or didn't typically let anxiety stop me from doing things. I would push past it and do it anyway. And then you just see me just kind of, going up the mountain, right? And doing all the things. Well, enter perimenopause and enter that decrease in estrogen, which has kind of helped to keep everything in place. Well, now, if you've ever made grits, and I know I'm going everywhere with this, but please, people, just hang in there with me, okay? If you've ever made grits and the grit pot starts to boil and you have a lid on, it's going everywhere. And it makes a mess. Well, that is your brain as a female if you have undiagnosed ADHD and you hit perimenopause, because I just felt lost. I felt as though like I could not now I couldn't juggle a whole bunch of things when I was really used to and I really wanted to. My focus was off, my memory was off. I couldn't mask it anymore. Things were falling through the cracks. My daughter had a couple of things at school that usually, like, she has a lot of things going on, and usually I'm really on top of it. But there were two major things, like with some, especially during the summer, where I was like, I cannot believe I didn't register her for this. I thought I did. I can't believe that I forgot about this thing that she was supposed to have at school. And I was just really beating myself up about it because I couldn't remember it. I didn't remember to do something. When in reality, the old Tiff, right, would have been able to do all of these things and just been piecing stuff together. And I'm also the procrastinator, so I can piece everything together at the last minute and come out smelling like a rose. But now things that I used to wait last minute on caught up with me, and I'm missing those things. So things were changing pretty significantly, pretty rapidly, and I just couldn't anymore. And so I finally called the doctor, and I was like, "Listen, girl, can you get your girl in?" And in true psychiatrist specialist fashion, you're gonna have to wait a couple months. So I did. But I went in, I put my big girl panties on. I went in there and I told her all the things. And she said, "Girl, that's it. You got ADHD." So I will say it was probably one of the most relieving experiences that I've ever had. Like, I was able to finally, because by the time I actually got in there, I'm like, I know this what it is. I know it is. I know it is. But I felt validated. I also felt like I have a name for it. I also felt like now I can do something about it. Now I can get some help. Now I don't have to I don't have to feel as overwhelmed as I did, because now there are pathways, there are openings, I can advocate for myself in a different way. I can show myself grace in areas that I hadn't, because I had been really, really hard on myself about, like I said, forgetting certain things, or not being present mentally, or not being able to focus, and just really like, why can't you do this? Now I know why I can't do it. And I can start to reframe some things, put some supports in place. Like, one of the other things that it really bothered me. Oh, and I'll share this too. I'm going to put this down. See, look at me. I'm writing a note so I don't forget to tell you something, right? Um, One of the other things that really did do it for me. And see, just like that, I wrote that note to remind myself of something else, and then I got thrown off. A mess. A mess. Um, Having ADHD, it's really been a thing that has, in a weird way, it sharing my experience, rather. Let me say that. Sharing my experience with ADHD and sharing some of the things that I've learned since I have been diagnosed with ADHD has really been a blessing, not just to me, but to people like you, people who follow me, people who listen to this podcast, people who, um, people who've been struggling with similar things, whether it's ADHD, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's grief, whatever it is, right? As I have scrolled through Instagram and scrolled through any of the other little Facebook and any of the other apps and everything else, I'll repost some things that resonate with me, in terms of what I experience with ADHD. And I cannot tell you the number of people who have reached out to me privately and said, thank you for posting this, because it it resonates with me. I've been thinking about this for myself, and it's encouraged me to make a move, to get some shit addressed, to actually consider that might be what's going on with me too. And so in that, and that's why I say it's a blessing. Like, it's been tough, not gonna lie. Been some adjustments. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Again, writing it down. It's been tough. I've had to make a lot of adjustments personally, professionally, with things. I write notes. I put stickies up on my wall. Um, I insist on like being a little bit more diligent in my calendar. I am a little bit harder on myself when it comes to procrastination, and making sure, more rigid with myself, I'll say, and making sure, that I don't procrastinate as much. And the meds, I will say, have been very, very helpful, because they have made it so that I can reel myself back in. Right. So I may be, focused on a task or doing something, and I realize, oh shoot, I opened Instagram and now I'm scrolling. Okay, I need to get back to this. That's one of the biggest things that the meds have helped me do, is like refocus and redirect my attention back to what I'm supposed to be doing. So whereas it might take me forever, a couple days to do something, the medication has made it so that I can sit down and really focus on the thing that I need to be doing, and not become preoccupied with something that is really just me being avoidant, not wanting to do. I can still do that. Still do that with the best of them. Okay. Don't get me wrong. She's still got it. But The other thing that it really did do for me was, um, I know that I do so much better. I operate so much better. My mind is so much better, and I am so much happier when my house is clean. But confession time, I can't stand cleaning nobody's house, including mine. I just don't like it. I'm not like, and I love following people on the TikTok and the Instagram. Operation Nikki, hats off to you, Queen. Um, I love seeing people like do all the cleaning things and getting all the little cleaning supplies and the gadgets and doing all the things. I love that, but that is not my ministry. It is not. I don't like cleaning. Love a clean house. Okay. Love a clean house, but she wasn't built for that. Okay. So what I realized is I need to make enough money that I can consistently and routinely have somebody come in my house and clean because I don't like to do it, but it is a non negotiable for my mental health and well being. Okay. So I started off this conversation today talking about 2024 being a year of completion and the things that we've learned and what. So on my list of things that I'm done with is not having a tidy home. Now that's not to say that things won't get untidy, but I was so used to over functioning and feeling like I had to do everything pre ADHD diagnosis, right? That I had to do everything, that I wasn't getting a lot done. And one of the things that was easy for me not to get done because I hated it so much was like cleaning, consistently cleaning and doing all the things, right? I hate doing it. So I would let some things go way longer than they needed to the point where now I'm overwhelmed even more by it, not just because I don't like it, but because there's so much that needs to be done. Now, don't get me wrong, I ain't no hoarder, and I wasn't living in squalor, okay? But it just wasn't what my brain needed in order to just feel like, you know? So, got a new cleaning lady. She comes in with about 4 girls. They get things done in a couple hours and it's glorious. And over this last month, they came in. And this is another tangent. Just bear with me, okay? We haven't seen each other in a while. You know how they talk about, if you're Black, you know this, you felt this before deep in your spirit, how the yams touch the collard greens and that juice mixed together, or maybe the yams touch the mac and cheese. It's not that you want your food to mix, but sometimes that little bit of sweetness with the greens or the savoriness with the when that hits, you just know, like it feels good. You feel blessed and highly favored. Well, when they were in here cleaning the house last time, I got that same feeling. It was the feeling when the pine sol touches the Clorox. Now, if it really does touch, I don't know if it spontaneously combusts or does anything. Because again, I don't do those things anymore. But it was that was the feeling. It was the same feelings as the yams touching the mac and cheese, honey. Oh, Lord, I love a clean house, honey. I love it. So yeah, so I realized that too. So I am prioritizing. That is something that I have to prioritize, that I don't have to get everything done. But when it comes to my mental health and wellness, I need to make sure certain things are in place um this year, and not putting it off because I feel like I should. I was using a lot of should statements. I should be able to do this. I should be able to get this done. I should be able to focus. I should be able to No, why? Why should you? Why should you? So I'm putting that to bed and putting things in place in 2025 that help me to get the things done that need to get done, whether I do them or not. Okay. I want to operate in my grace, in my gifts. I want to operate in my genius. Cleaning is not something that I want to be a genius at. Okay. Not me. Not me. I'll leave that to the girls. Um, all right. So inconsistent efforts. Also, I cannot believe we are talking for 30 minutes. I really thought I'd be talking to you for 30 minutes. And I have notes down here of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. I should have been able to wrap this up in 10 minutes, but here we are. The other thing I wanted to talk about was inconsistent efforts. So what I realized in terms of the podcast, I do love doing this podcast. I do love sharing with you guys. I love talking with you. I love having guests on, but what I was doing is I would record episodes with intention for sure. And once I felt like I had completed that cycle, I need a break. Need a break. Human, right? But the other thing that I realized, and I realized this with my business, not with my business, with the podcast for sure, but with my promotion, with the promotion of my business and things that I do, that I was hiding. Who can relate to that? Just asking for friends that I was hiding. So I would be inconsistent with efforts because I would think about what was keeping me from showing up. So I wouldn't show up on a live or do a reel or something, one, because it takes effort, it takes work, okay? But I would have the content, or I would have an idea, or have it together, but my hair wasn't done. So I'm like, "Ugh, I gotta do my hair." And this is part of what hampers a lot of us that have ADHD too. We think about the thing that we want to do. We have an idea for the thing that we want to do. We're really motivated for the thing that we want to do, but then we start to think about all the things that we have to do in order to do the thing. Then it becomes hard to do the thing, because now, instead of just, turning on my phone, doing whatever it is I need to do and posting, I've got to get up. I need to take a shower. I need to clean off my desk. I can't go on looking any kind of way. I got to do something. At least put on some moisturizer, a tinted moisturizer at best, do a little lippy and some lashes. Oh God, my hair's not done this week. I really need to get my hair done. Well, now I'm going to wait until I get my hair done to do this. But on the day that I get my hair, it becomes a thing. So then you have inconsistent effort. I had inconsistent effort with doing all the things that I need to do, because it's not waiting on motivation, because I'm motivated to do that thing, but it's getting all the pre-things, the pre-things done so that I can do the thing. And by the time I get all of that done, the mood is past. So that's something else that I am putting to bed in 2024. Not waiting on the thing and just doing it anyway. Not hiding because things aren't perfect. And realizing, and I'm looking past the camera because I have a wall over here with sticky notes on it, and I put phrases on there that I want to make sure that I remember. And one of the things that I wrote on there earlier this year is, people are praying for you to show up. People are praying for you to show up. I believe that. I received that. And I needed to say that to you, because that's one of the things that helped me show up today. Hair's not done. Don't have on any makeup. I know, but my skin looks great, doesn't it? We'll talk about skincare on another episode. Hair isn't done. I put the wrap on. Makeup's not really done. Not necessarily, there's nothing wrong with my outfit, just not really dressed. Okay. But here's what I realized when I was talking myself into this today. Y'all are going to listen to this. Most of you won't even see me. Okay. Most of you are going to be listening to this in your car. You won't see this episode. It will be posted on YouTube if you want to see me in all of my glory. It will be on YouTube, but most of y'all are going to be listening to this in your car, on your podcasting station, wherever you listen to podcasts. Half of y'all's hair ain't done. No judgment. Some of y'all ain't got on makeup. Okay. Some of y'all ain't even dressed. Okay. Y'all might be still in pajamas, a robe. Some of y'all could be just laying up butt naked. Okay. So why am I concerned about what my hair looks like or what my face looks like or like literally y'all don't even, I don't even have to do this as a video podcast. I literally could do this with my voice. I just think I'd like to have the visual, but to be honest, y'all, if it means a more consistent effort on my part, you guys may just be getting more audio podcasts in 2025, and that's just going to be okay. So what I'm saying, I'm putting to bed in 2024 as it becomes to this is the inconsistency of my efforts as it relates to some of my business ventures and me hiding behind, because it is an excuse, right? Me hiding behind the fact that my hair isn't done or my makeup isn't done or I don't have this or, my office doesn't look like that or, whatever it is. I'm pushing past it because there's some information that God has given me that I have that you don't. And it's something, that information is something that you've been praying for or that you need to hear. And I have to allow God to use me in a way that makes it plain for you, that allows you to hear what He wants you to hear. So, there you go. Now, those are the things that I'm completing, okay, in 2024. Now, let me tell you what I did in 2024. I'm going to get through these things and then we're going to talk about 2025 because it's going to be a great year. All right. So 2025, I did a lot of self-reflection. I did a lot of, I think, growing, and I did a lot of traveling. I got my travel bag, honey, got it out. Okay. So much so that I damaged a suitcase and Delta had to replace. Well, I didn't damage it. Delta damaged it, but they replaced it, which is awesome. But I worked that suitcase, honey, till the wheels literally fell off. Okay. Started out the year, I don't think I went anywhere in January, but I did start out the year doing the Charleston Food and Wine Festival. That was amazing. Went with some friends down to Charleston. It was my first time doing that particular festival. It was insanity. It rained that weekend, but the day that we went, it was a little muddy, but it was glorious. We had a fantastic time, great weekend, great wine, great food. It was amazing. I loved it. And doing it again in 2025. So you'll hear more about that as it comes up. Also, my husband celebrated his 50th this year. And so we planned a trip for Curacao. We did Curacao this year, which is it's in the ABC Islands, Aruba. I think it's Bonaire in Curacao. So we did that. That was a fun trip. We stayed at Sandals Resort. That was my first time staying at Sandals. Perhaps I'll talk about that on another podcast. Curacao was lovely, though. I want to go back. We had an amazing time on that trip. And we chartered a yacht that was really the best part of the whole vacation. It was amazing. And I would go back and do that again and again and again. Curacao was beautiful. I did 2 cruises, one by myself. I did a retreat. So this was a year of, a lot of travel for me. I don't typically do solo travel. I don't like it. Not that I like to travel with big groups of people. I do it. I travel with friends all the time, but I really prefer to travel with just my husband. But this trip I went by myself because it was a retreat for content creators. and I met some amazing, amazing people. I learned so much about content creation. Um, but I also learned something about myself on this retreat um, that, you know, I'm learning something as I'm talking to you guys about it too, which is why I'm laughing. Um, I love doing content creation. I love doing travel content creation. As some of you know, I did open up a new Instagram account called Self Care Passport. Um, what I don't want to do, I still do content creation, still, making my little videos and doing the things. I don't want to do it. I think I don't want to do it. I'm still mulling through this. I don't necessarily want to do it for anyone but me. What I mean by that is the hustle and bustle in life of a content creator, especially one with a niche in travel. Um, when I travel, I want to do what I want to do. I want to do it on my own time. I want to film a video that I want to film. I don't want to have to check off all the boxes and meet all these requirements. And I want to edit it how I want to edit it. I want to share what I want to share. I don't want to feel like, well, I have to say something nice because this person or this entity is paying for it. I love creating content. Don't always like to have to be beholden to anyone else. So that's another thing we're putting to rest in 2024. Not that I won't be sharing content on my travels and things, because I absolutely will. I actually have tons of videos that I haven't even posted on Self Care Passport because I want to make sure that it's stuff that I just want to post for me and to share with you guys, and not because it feels salesy or like I'm trying to get you to buy something or go somewhere because I did it. I just want you to have the information, boo. So that's where we are with that. Did Curacao. We did 2 cruises. I did 2 cruises. I did Virgin, which if you have not been on a Virgin cruise, if you are an adult and have not been on a Virgin cruise and you like things, you like nice things, okay? I'm going to tell you go on a Virgin cruise. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about that today because that's not what this podcast is about today. But I do want to encourage you to do a Virgin cruise. I'm going to have my friend at some point, Tawana, who is a travel consultant for Live Travel Go. You can follow her over on Instagram as well. I want to have her come on and just talk about vacationing in general and travel things, perks and trips that she has coming up. But Virgin is amazing, and she'll talk a lot more about that because she's been on several Virgin cruises. Also, the week after I did Virgin, I did Carnival. And we're going to move the conversation right along. All right. So also did Napa, did Vail. We just got back from Vail in Denver. And that was an amazing trip. I haven't been skiing since I was probably in elementary school. I went. I barely remember it. I don't really think I skied. This time I skied and I had the bruises to prove it. It was an amazing trip. We went with about 11 friends and I had a great time. We also did a Denver Broncos game, Broncos and the Falcons. Excuse me. It was a great, great trip. And so that was, and I'm sure I did, travel, did some road trips, here and there. Also with Tawana, my friend from Live Travel Go, she also did a day trip, has a day trip like club. And so she organized some trips, some day trips, just to fly into random places and experience the day in a city and fly back. And so I did do that with her, and I've already signed up to do that again in 2025. So more travel on the way. We've already got plans for, like I said, Charleston, perhaps another boat trip or two, because in the past few years, I've realized I'm a boat girl. I like boat things. So yeah, we'll do Vegas, hopefully Hawaii, New York, and I'm just excited to see what else ends up on our travel to do. One thing that my husband, I think, has realized in the last year or two is that he really, really likes vacation Tiff. Vacation Tiff is different than Atlanta Tiff. She gets down. She has a lot of fun. She's very relaxed. She's not on edge. She don't have to clean anything. She don't cook anything. She's just, she's just living her best life. She has a lot of energy for all the fun stuff, if you know what I mean. So, he has an added, incentive to make sure the vacation Tiff, gets all the things that she needs to get in 2025. And so hopefully that will also happen. So there are a lot more of those coming up. Let's see, where else are we? Oh, 2025. So one of the last things that I want to talk to you about is 2025. So 2025, I'm moving into this. I'm going to toggle back to 2024, but I want to tell you about 2025. So I'm just looking at my notes. I'm just trying to figure out. You make notes and then you're like, where should I go next? Should have numbered the notes. All right. So again, 2024, year of completion, done with things. In my business, right? In all of the things that I do, I've had the privilege, the pleasure, the audacity to explore several different revenue streams and think about how I want to show up for my clients, for myself, for my family, in terms of what I want to do, and what I want to offer to people, how I want to make money, right? So I've explored that, and because probably because of my ADHD, I give myself permission to explore whatever I want. No matter what it is, I will, if it interests me, again, shiny object, right? If it interests me, I'm like, oh, let's do that. Let's try that. Let's see how that works. Let's see but what I've had to come to terms with is that I really need to listen once I explore these things. Is this something that I want to do for work to make money with? Is this something that I want to do just for me? Do I like this? Do I want to Is there what's the reason that I like it? Am I purpose to do this? Is this why I'm here? Right? Or is this just something that I need to do for fun? And so with all of the things that I've been doing, I have been rethinking about rethinking like, why is this in my life? What's the purpose for this being in my life? Is this something that I'm meant to do for me? Or is this something that I'm meant to do for others? Am I supposed to share this gift, this passion, this, feeling, this purpose, whatever? And so in 2024, some things are changing in terms of my business. One thing will be that the price will go up. Some of the things that I've done in the past, I've just decided, like, it's hard work, things that make me feel good to do. And so I haven't really been as focused about raising my prices. But what I have learned, or what I know and what I've known for years, is like I'm undercharging. And so because I'm undercharging, I haven't expanded. Let me explain. Because I've undercharged, I haven't expanded. I won't accept more of less. I won't allow myself to work with more people at that same rate. That's just my rule, right? So while I could have expanded, while I could have seen different clients in different capacities, while I could have grown in other ways, in, let's say, even just with my private practice, right? Because I had the rate where I have the rate, And I didn't want to take on more, because when you do more for less, you become resentful of what you're doing. And I didn't want to do that because I love what I'm doing. But I also am always so mindful and respectful of where people are coming from and their pockets and all of that. But in 2024, it is complete. In 2025, things will increase. Things will increase because I am at a place where I want to increase. And I want to increase without feeling resentful. I want to increase without feeling taken advantage of. I want to increase and be honored, valued, and compensated for what I'm putting out into the universe. I think that sometimes we don't or won't or can't do more because not because others aren't filling our cups, because that's our job. Another podcast episode. But because we're not requiring that. We're not requiring that. And so for me to show up in all my greatness, in all of God's greatness, how about that? It will cost a little bit more. So that's my business, not yours. That's one thing that I realized for 2024. But moving into 2025, 2024, again, year of completion, that 8 number, right? When you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, 2025, when you add those numbers together, you get 9. And 9 is a year of new beginnings. So the new beginnings, what we're doing new in 2025. I love this because it is an opportunity to do what we should have been doing all along, to step out into our greatness, to step out on faith, to step out into opportunity, to step out into all that God and the universe has for us, and to be our most authentic selves, to be our most vulnerable, to offer up and show up in a way that answers prayers for people. And that is my intention for 2025. You will see that in this podcast. You'll probably have a few more episodes of me just talking to you like I'm talking to you today. You will probably have a few more episodes of me not having the screen on, but the mic will be on, honey. The mic will be on. But the face might not be there. So I may show up and record audio episodes of this podcast a little bit more frequently than you will see my face. But that is because I am trying to not let the fact that it's not done. I'm trying not to let that hinder me, you, us, right? You will see in 2025 what I want to do, the new beginning. Is that I want to do more of my work and target more of my work towards women. And I want to speak to that just for a bit. Women have always been the top priority and key focus of all of the work that I do in my private practice. And even in some of the expert work that I do, the bulk of it is with women. That's not to say that I don't work with men, but I believe that where my purpose lies is to help embolden and empower women to be the best woman that they can be for themselves, for their families, and within and throughout their relationships, particularly their romantic relationships. My work has often, and I think the work that I have the most fun with has really been in working with women in relationships, whether they're currently in a relationship or have a string of past relationships where they're just not feeling fulfilled and they're maybe not advocating for themselves in a way, or really don't have the clarity around what they want in a relationship. And so they are stuck. whether that's physically stuck, not moving anywhere, or just emotionally, mentally stuck, like they don't want to make a decision or make the wrong decision, so they don't make any moves. But they do know that they're not fulfilled. They do know that they're not happy. They do know that they want more. And I love taking on the task of helping them figure out how to get it, how to how to speak up, how to advocate, how to stand on business, how to set better boundaries, how to get what they need and want, deserve, and desire out of their relationships. And so, in exploring different ways in which I can further help do that, I have decided to I took on a business coach this year in 2024. I actually did 2 coaching programs this year. And the latter has really taken me, the one that I'm in now, has really taken me down a path of how I want to show up for the women who rock with me moving forward. Yeah. And so, what you're going to see in the coming weeks and months and days, even, are different services, courses, programs, challenges that are all targeted towards the women who want to become the one. The Become the One community is a community of like-minded women that I am growing and cultivating and empowering and working with, who want to learn how to effortlessly call in the love that they deserve and desire while focusing on their own growth and transformation. It took me a long time to get to this place where I can talk about this and where I'm pretty succinct in it. I'm still mulling through that, I guess, what it is. But essentially, I want to help women, again, whether they're married, single, booed up, in a situationship, don't know what they're doing, trying to figure it out, had a string of bad relationships, have in a bad relationship right now, but for a long time, and just don't know how or if or what, or just how they gonna get out of it, or if they even want to get out. Just women who need clarity on how they've navigated relationships thus far, knowing that I really have been struggling with wanting my partners to change, or wanting them to treat me a certain way, or wanting them to do certain things. And, you know, but struggling with that, while also understanding that the only person that they can change is themselves. And with that understanding, knowing that if I am the only one who I can enforce changes with, then damn it, I'm going to start working on me. Right. And so that's the Becoming the One community. That's the community that I'm building. That's the community that I'm leading. And that is what all of the programming that you're going to see from me going forward is going to be about. It's going to be about becoming the one. We're not trying to find the one. It would be very easy for me to try and sell programming and courses on, oh, let me help you find your man or your woman or your person, and let's get you to a place where you can find the right one. Like that, I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not guaranteeing in any way, shape, or form that you will find Mr. or Mrs. Right. What I am saying, what I am saying is that instead of you looking for, chasing after, trying to make someone into the one, I am going to help you focus on yourself, focus on your own growth, your own transformation, doing the work that you need to do in order to become the one. You become the one. okay, that everybody else is looking for. Because we can't change nobody else, but we can damn sure do a whole bunch of work together for you. So you will hear a lot about that, coming up. But also, as we approach 2025, I do want to share with you a program that I'm launching tomorrow, January 1st. And that is the One Within. The One Within is a 30-day journaling challenge, and it is aimed at all of those women that we just talked about, the women who, um, rather than focusing on what they need to change in somebody else, are ready to do the work, ready to shift their focus to find the one within themselves, ready to address perhaps past hurt, past disappointment, past trauma, past triggers, relationship missteps, red flags that they missed. Also, recognizing their opportunities for self care, recognizing their own greatness, what they bring to the table. Because let me tell you, the subscribers that I have, the members that I have, the people that listen to this podcast, just like y'all are some badass bitches. Okay. 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 You are. You are. You are. And you deserve the absolute world. And I want to make sure that you get it. So the One Within 30-day journaling challenge, I'm going to lead with this because I did not lead with this in any of my marketing, and I didn't lead with it on purpose, but it is completely free. Okay. Completely free. There's no reason for you not to sign up. Okay. Every day for all 30 days in January, actually 31 days in January. So, but who wants to go to a 31-day challenge? It's a 30-day challenge. Okay. For 30 days in January, you will receive an email prompt from me, a journal prompt that you can download as a PDF. You can just use your own journal. If you have your own journal at home, you can just write the question out and write in your journal for those days. I'll give you the prompt. So if you're someone who says, I don't know how to, I want a journal, but I don't know how, or I don't really think that, I don't know if journaling's for me. I never know what to write. You don't have to worry about what to write, sweetie. I'm giving you the prompt. I'm telling you what to write each day. So you don't even have to think about that. I am doing mine on my iPad. So when everything is downloaded, you can just use your Apple Pencil and just write it there, save it to a file. You're good to go. Very, very easy. So you don't have to think about what to write. I'm giving you the prompts every day. It's free. It's nothing that you need to pay for. Beautiful, right? And you're going to be a part of the community. You'll have a community of women behind you. They're all doing the same thing, all on the same journey. And I think it's a really, really beautiful thing. I'm excited to see what happens, how this grows our community, and what revelations, what transformations happen as a result of our participation, our collective participation in this program. So the One Within 30-day journaling challenge, it starts on January 1st, which is tomorrow. You can find out more about it by clicking the link. I'm going to put a link in the show notes for the challenge. You can sign up there. I'll also put a link to to sign up for emails. I'll also put a link to the website. The website is going through some changes, but it's drtiffanyhenry.com. You'll see there some of the upcoming things that we have. We've got some digital downloads, some meditation downloads that you can download them right now at your leisure, and get in where you fit in, things to help you reduce anxiety, to let go of negative emotions. I think there's one even for setting intention. Dancing out of bed is a setting intention for the beginning of the day. That's a beautiful one as well. We're going to have more of those. I have one for sleep that is so good coming up, that hopefully that'll release in the next year. I'm not even worried about that. But you're also going to see, also coming up for me in the next couple of months, is my signature 12-week program. Now, this one is not free. Okay. That one will not be free. But it is a 12-week program, and it is so, so good. So dip your toe in with the one within the journaling challenge, because the 12-week Become the One program, that's where the rubber meets the road. And the one within is kind of a precursor to that. Like, you'll get some things, you'll get clear on some things. And really, once you're finished with that, you're probably going to want to continue doing some of the work because it's going to be habit by then. And you're going to want to like continue. Um, if this is the path that you're going down. Also want to encourage you to share the challenge, share it with other women who you know. Like, we all have that girlfriend who always has some sort of relationship drama, whether it's with her boo or her husband or girlfriend or whatever. Share it. Share it. She's welcome to come to the challenge. We want everybody. Y'all come. This light is really bothering me. The sunlight. I don't know what's going on here. Woo. So sorry about that. That was technical difficulties. The internet just decided it didn't want to internet anymore. So yeah, Become the One, right? That program will launch probably about March. And it will be 12 weeks, and it will be again for women who are all on this journey together. And while the current program, the one within, is free, Become the One, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you. Um, I'm also looking at other ways to expand my practice. In this practice, what we're doing with these programs is coaching, it's relationship coaching. It is not counseling, it is coaching. And I have to say that because there is a difference between counseling and coaching. We can talk about what that is later. Um, but with counseling, I've been asked by so many over the years, and especially over the last few months, to work with people in different states. And what I have to always say is I am not licensed in any other state other than Georgia. And a lot of states just don't have reciprocity. Like, you can be licensed in one state, but not in others. And over COVID times, there was a little bit of wiggle in terms of, because everyone was staying at home and people needed to be able to access care, um, in different ways. Uh, we were able to use our licenses across state lines, but mm, those accommodations have kind of been rolled back a bit. So now, um, looking for ways for me to look for ways in which I can work with more people and really touch more lives. And again, show up for people in the ways in which they've been praying for, right? Answering those questions, blessing people with the knowledge and information that I have, that they're wanting, right? I have to think of different ways to do that. And so, this is part of the new beginning in 2024, is really reaching into my coaching bag and offering relationship coaching programs and services that will allow me to work with more, to touch more, and to be and do more in the lives of others. So, yeah, that's it. That's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. That's what I'm going to do in the coming year. So I thank you so much for joining me today. So sorry for that, last minute kerfuffle with the internet. But is what it is. Just thanks for hanging out. This was an impromptu episode of Intimate Details with Dr. Tiff. You will see me back in the next, it is a very lofty assumption of mine that I will do a podcast for the challenge, the one within challenge. But I've actually been thinking about it. I've been actually thinking about, just coming on every day, giving you 5 minutes, because this podcast the challenge should only take about 5 minutes a day, but offering a new podcast episode for 5 minutes a day, just so that you know what the day's prompt is. If you're not following along, if you haven't joined the challenge, if you're waiting or just don't know if it's for you, but you just want a little sneak peek and you're not willing to sign up, I got you, boo. Just follow the podcast. I'll probably log on throughout the challenge and just be like, hey, girl, today's journal prompt is this. If you want more, join the challenge. And then you don't even have to wait on me, right? Because we already talked about my inconsistencies in showing up. I just want you to be where it is, where the information is, so you don't have to worry about it. And again, completely free challenge. You don't have a reason not to do this. Okay. All right. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, and safe and happy and glorious evening this New Year's Eve, December 31st, and that you have the most magical, magnificent, prosperous, and blessed 2025. I will see you in the new year. Ciao.